Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's a lovely 18 degrees today over in the UK, and it's a great opportunity to get outside in the garden, muck about with your trees. On Sunday we went down to Birmingham to check out a bonsai boot sale. That was Sunday the 20th. Here's a bit of the footage of what we got. Example of the lovely trees that were down there. Check it out. Hey, taking a look of everything we got. First of all, we got this little field maple. Let's zoom in a little bit for you. As you can see from the base and going upwards into the canopy. As you can see on it, we did have a bit of wire on it at the time of purchase. I've since taken that off, but as you can see there, it has left. It actually dug in and left a pretty big mark. Over time, that will eventually disappear. So on that, all we're going to do is just trim a little bit of the branches we don't need or don't want. I think what we'll do is we'll repot this one as well. Don't know when it was last done, and it's in a very soily mix. So let's get into some soil that I actually prefer. Next purchase was this tiny little pyracantha we got. As you can see from the bottom, we have two very large pads compared to the size of the tree. The tree has already been wired, although it wasn't in the position that I wanted, so I have since moved the wiring and moved the tree into position, giving it a bit more curvature. What we will be doing is these pads, I'm going to be taking them down, probably taking about that much off, bringing it in line with the size of the tree. As you can see, they are pretty big for a tree that's only the size of my hand. Next up, we got two of the little pepper trees, which, to be honest, I've wanted one of these for a while. I've not been able to get hold of them. I got these at a reasonable good price. So I think what we're doing with those is just giving them a repot again into some more free draining soil and let them grow on. Our next purchase was this tiny little pyracantha. Now I bought this to keep it small, little marmee, and I also see in this lovely little pot, £3, what a bargain. Now the idea with this one is to do something like that. Nice and easy. Trim it back a little bit and grow it, keep it small, keep it compact and tidy. Next purchase is this little oak. Again, I've not got an oak in my collection, so I decided to go for this little one. All I need to do again for this one, get it out of this soil and into some proper bonsai soil and trim the branches that I want to keep, trim them back. Now's the perfect time, with it being spring, everything starting to bud out. And the last bargain I managed to pick up was this pot. Now, I absolutely love this pot. It was only £10. When the sun hits it, it has like a cokey brown kind of colour. It's absolutely fantastic. So, I'm really made up with this one. Okay guys, let's I think let's repot one of these trees, do a bit of trimming, and just get it started on its bonsai journey. Now I think we're going to start with my English oak. Now all we're going to do is just have a quick look at it, see where we think we might have the front, and see which branches we don't want. Now for me, I'm thinking about here for the front. This branch comes right across. We need to remove that. So it opens up this area quite nicely. I also think if we're going to have this as the front, this here, we have one massive leaf that comes further up, all the way up here, and we've also got this one competing. Now for the sake of movement, I think I'm going to go with this one, keep this as my leader, which means this branch here I need to cut back, and I'm thinking about here, which will give this as a side branch, and then we've got another branch just here as well that we can utilise in the future. Let's make that cut. Big cut, leave a bit of room for dieback. So we've just removed all of that. So I think this branch here we're going to keep, but we are going to reduce it back, and I think we're going to be reducing this one back to that branch itself. There we go. Again, leaving some dieback. Take it to there, and there. Take that dead stub off. So I think that is going to be the front. Just there. So in the future, this little bit here will be gone, and it'll come up to here. I'll have a branch out here. This branch will follow up to here. This being the leader. And then we have branches, and hopefully we'll develop some more as well. Now for the trunk, I'm going to start by removing that moss, and I'm going to get it out of the pot. For removing the moss, all we're going to do is just use a toothbrush and see if we can just remove it gently. If not, we'll get the tweezers out. Start by raking out the roots radially. So as we tease the roots out, because we're going radially, if we do snag any roots, it's just going to be the crossing roots, leaving the radial ones that we are wanting. As you can see, we've got a bit of a snag going. There we go. So as we're raking out, what we are doing is looking where our root base is going to begin. So the further we go down, we'll hit the proper roots. So the roots that are coming out, they're the ones we're going to be hopefully utilising as our main base at the bottom of the tree. Hopefully when we do find them as well, we'll have more of a flare, or more to the nabari. So I'm going to continue doing this, and once we're done, I'll come back to you. We just need to give these a rinse so we can get in there further. Now that the roots are washed out, we can actually see a lot better. As you can see, around about here is going to be our root plane. So everything above here we need to take off. It's just too high and it's not going to work. So we'll take that one and that one. These ones up here. Take that one out. Now we need to take this one, because this is where our flare now starts. All the roots around here is going to be our root flare. So this one here, this one's also too high. Take that out. Neaten that up. As you can see, this big root here starting to circle, so what we're going to do is we're going to cut back on an angle, and then the angle we've cut it at, it should develop roots from there, growing in the direction that we want. I'll take the one above it off, that one as well. This one's going up. Now looking underneath, what we're going to do is level these off. As you can see, all these roots, they just don't want to go back round the tree, so we're going to take these ones off. Same with these over here. That one's growing upwards. This one's coming all the way around the tree and circling. So I'm going to remove that one completely. Let's get in there. This one's crossing a curl right across the bottom. And actually looking at the tree now we've removed some more of those roots, we could possibly go further down and use this as our root base, as it flares an awful lot more. And there's not much over here. We have smaller feeder roots, so they could develop over time. Yes, I'm going to take the higher ones off and reduce our base. That's better. Which means this big one at the back has also got to go. This one's probably a little bit too high, but for the time being, I'm going to leave it. Just help them at the back. That could potentially make new roots flaring outwards. Let's have a look underneath. Take that out. Anything coming from directly under, we need to get rid of. That one's coming out too high. This one's growing upwards. Let's take that off. And that one. Just going to give this another quick wash. Get the rest of the soil out. After giving it another rinse, that's what our root plane is looking like. You see, there's some finer roots on the back, but what we want to do is start developing these outwards, giving it a nice radial flare. But overall, I'm quite happy with that. Okay, let's get it potted up. Now I've set the pot up. I've decided to use this terracotta pot. Plenty of room for it to grow in the next few years. I don't need to worry about it. I've also added root hormone around the roots and the open wounds, just to help encourage more growth towards the back end and on front develop more. All I'm going to do is just place the tree in, give it a wiggle, make sure all the soil is under and between the roots. Once we've got that in place, we're just going to tie it in, secure it down so that the tree doesn't move. That's in nice and snug. Just going to push that down. And just going to top off with a bit more soil. Same as usual, just going to try and get rid of these air pockets. And as normal, I'm going to top off with a bit of fertiliser. Once we've watered that in good and proper, now what we're going to do is going to take some of our moss that I've collected recently and we're going to dress the surface. Now don't worry, the moss doesn't need to be in there perfectly everywhere, completely covered. Eventually it will grow in, giving us a nice carpet effect. There we go, so that's on there nice. We're just going to do another pass with water that in. So that's the oak all repotted up. let's move on to the field maple. Here's my field maple. Now the first thing you notice is the trunk line here, and we've got a root coming from high up growing, so that has obviously caused a bit of taper here, nice bit of swelling, but I think I'm going to take that off, try and nibble it down. We're also going to take out some of the branches that are crossing the wrong way we don't want, and once we've done that, we're just going to pot it up again in some better soil. Okay, let's start. And to start, I want to take this one off. We've been in the inside of a curve. Nice and easy. If I zoom in on that section, guys, you'll see, here we go, how badly the wire that was on it when I got it has cut in. Over time that will eventually disappear, but it's not going to be for some years. Now looking at the tree, I'm not 100% sure what I want my front to be, or what I want the back, or even how I want it to grow. So all I'm going to do is just make some sort of apex and try and grow it outwards rather than across itself. So it all seems to be like a little bit windswept at the moment. It's not what I want. So I think I'm going to keep this branch here and remove this long one. Leaving some room for dieback. So now we've got a proper branch. The one growing up we'll take off. The one growing down we'll also remove. I think we'll shorten that back to here. We've got this branch underneath it. It's growing towards the back. We're going to need to shorten that. And we'll shorten it to the bud here, which will shoot out. Same again, we've also got another back branch here, if we're going to have that as the front, which is far too long. Again, I'm just going to comb and shorten it up to there. Now we're already getting a bit more of a structural shape to it. We've got buds here that could potentially go up. This branch going out. We've got a back branch here. And then on the left side we've got another branch coming out. I don't think I want this side, because this side here is going in the direction, well, a direction that we would prefer. So we're going to snip that off, go back to the front, and you can see it's going to grow that way. This top part of the tree now is again in completely the wrong place. I do have a bud towards the back. If I move that tree around, you can see it there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut to here. I'm going to use this to grow up. I was giving it a bit more shape already. This one here is a bit too long. I think all I'm going to do is take the top part off. Let's see how that looks. And then we could potentially use that as a leader. I'm going to snip this one back. That's all we're going to do, I think, for today in terms of trim. And now we're going to take a look at the roots, because this has to go. So let's get it out of the pot and let's see what the root system it looks like before we start snipping away. Okay, same again, let's start raking this out. Now, it's a good job I decided to start have a look at repotting, because this is just all soil. Whoever I got this from, I just put the clay molar on top, which obviously disguises to see it looks like it's in better soil than it actually is. I mean, look how much you can actually hear how it stores too much water. Let's get rid of this. Let's get out of this soil, guys. Okay, I'm just going to wash that out and then I'll be right back. Having washed these roots out, these are pretty bad, so the one I wanted to cut off is a good majority of the root ball. And then on top of that, everything's long right at the bottom of the plant, well, the tree. That's a better angle to see it from. So this one here, if we pull it out, and you've got this one here, and then you've got another one here, this great big thing at the bottom, and then another one here. Now, if I had a nice rock, I could potentially do a nice root over rock with them. That's probably going to be the best idea. Okay, let's go and see if I've got any rocks. So I found this rock outside in my garden, and I think this is going to be ideal. So what I'll do is cut these off here, or at least this one here, bend it round, cut this one here, and then try and secure the tree onto the side of the rock. Okay, I'll secure it and then I'll come back. I broke the rock down a bit, changed the angle, and I've decided to secure it like this. So it is more of a windswept now. Even though the branches we did take off made it look windswept, because it was originally going to be vertical, everything that we've kept is now going to make it look a windswept, maybe semi-cascade. So I'm going to plant it up to here, put the rock underneath the soil so that the roots then have time to attach to the rock, and we're going to leave it a few years, and fingers crossed when we come back to it at a later date it should be doing what we want it to do. Let's get it potted up. So I'm going to pot up in this big pot, submerging the rock and the roots. give it. Let's give this one a good watering. Fertilizer. There you go everyone, so that's the 2 trees done today. Give you a quick spin. If you enjoyed this, please give me a like, share, subscribe. Thanks, and we'll see you in the next one.